All right, we'll give it a couple seconds and minutes for everybody to pop in, but welcome. So excited about today because we will be talking about organizing our projects. So we are on day 2 of the Orphan Project Challenge. When you pop in here, please say hello. Let me know you are here and where you are coming from. I know for some of you it's early, for some of you it is in the afternoon. So it's perfect time to join. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we are going over the Orphan Project Challenge. So super excited. This is a challenge about your long lost and forgotten projects that have been sitting in piles and not getting done. And we are here to help you move them forward. So as people pop in, I did just drop a link, excuse me, into the comments. So anybody not with us yet, as far as joining the challenge, you are invited. So immediately after you join the challenge, you'll have access to our tracking sheets, which we talk about tomorrow, the ebook, which we talk about on Thursday, and our prep to sew, which kind of was yesterday, but it's an easy one to kind of catch up on. So good morning, Monica and Joni. So glad you guys are here. So I'm Becky from Patchwork Posse, as well as my online quilt group, the International Association of Quilters. I help connect quilters together, as well as help you become best friends with your sewing machine. So much fun. So this week is all about the Orphan Project Challenge. We have some Facebook Lives set and scheduled, and today we will be going over organizing our projects. Good morning, Joyce. So glad you guys are here. All right, so I am going to share my screen really quick. Good morning, Sue. So glad you're here. All right, let's see, actually. I'm going to push that back over there. Okay, so let us get started. And that's great and all, but it's on the wrong slide here. We don't want to see our actions. All right, Orphan Project Challenge day 2. I believe you guys can see my screen, so hopefully that is working. As more people are popping in, good morning, Judy and Elaine. So glad you guys are here. Welcome, welcome. All right, so our Orphan Project Challenge day 2. What is this all about? Well, first of all, let's talk about yesterday. How did yesterday go? While we've got more people popping in, I would love to hear what you accomplished. And did you find your buddy? Have you checked in? And how did that go? So what did you find while you were digging through your hot spots? That was our goal yesterday, was dig through our hot spots. Good morning, Sandy. Yes, correct time. So glad you found us this morning. And those of you, sometimes it takes a little bit of refreshing the screen to pick us up. Good morning, Danelle. Hello. So how did yesterday go for everybody? How was it? Good morning, Julia. What did you accomplish yesterday? What's your story? Elaine, I missed yesterday. Can I find it someplace? Yes, Elaine, you can. If you go to the membership group, or the Quilting 101, if you go to the Quilting 101 and under media, there's going to be a tab that says videos, and you will see yesterday's Facebook Live there. So everything, all the Facebook Lives will pop over into that files section. So hopefully that helps, and you'll be able to find it after today. Danelle says, currently on vacation, but looking forward to get busy when I am home. Yeah, and like a lot of times we just kind of think about things and roll things over in our head. And so Even though you're not actively moving things along, you can still kind of make plans, and that's a lot of fun. Marianne, good morning from California. Monica says, worked on my last list and found a buddy. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so let me pop back over to my slides. You can continue to tell us how yesterday went. That would be great. So organizing your projects, that's what today is all about. So learning quick and simple ways you can organize your orphan projects. That's what we're talking about. Less searching, more time sewing. When it comes to your orphan projects, they tend to start taking over everywhere they are, right? They take over our shelf, the stack, a drawer, you name it. Somebody yesterday said their hotspot was any flat surface. That's about what it is. They spread quicker than anything else I have found. Really, it's kind of amazing that such simple things can make a big difference in how you store your projects. Plus, it affects how you feel about them as well. So, Delane says, sewed for a few minutes, found some items that were lost. Awesome! That's what it's all about. Joy says, I clean up my cutting, ironing, sewing to areas. No surprises, but I have 2 projects to work on. That's awesome. So here we go. Overwhelm is a problem when you have so many orphan projects on your list. Keeping them organizing and having a system really helps. You'll find that you can be excited about them. And once again, they're under control and organized a little bit better, even picking one thing. So we're going to go over 5 ways you can organize your projects. And the question is, which one are you going to start with? Or how do you organize your projects right now? Is it working for you? I guess really is the bigger question. Is what you're doing working? Or how do you organize your projects when things do work? Leanne, good morning. Marcia, I'm here. Yay, I'm so glad you're here, Marcia. Welcome. Yeah, so how do you organize your projects? So we've got 5 ways to organize. The first one is use clear containers, boxes or baggies to contain them all. Make sure your instructions are included. I do this a lot. I find that the box or the clear containers are better because you can stack them. Baggies are okay. They slide everywhere, aren't that friendly for keeping rulers and templates because they're pointy and they make holes and get lost. So just be aware of that. I use a lot of, bedding bags. So sheets and other things, those are great because they've got closure, a zipper, and they're clear. They're not as slippery as, like, say, a baggie, but the flat containers are best because they do stack. But you have to take the time and money and energy to buy those. So I usually go with what's easiest and what I have around. That's typically like a Ziploc baggie from the quilt store that I just got my fabric in, or again, those sheets. Patty, good morning. Monica says, this keeps me from buying more fabric yesterday with the Labor Day sales. Ooh, that was a temptation, wasn't it? Oh, goodness. Marcia says, total of 33, grab 10 for the challenge. Perfect. That's a perfect amount. Good morning, Patty. Judy says, missed yesterday driving back from vacation. It's never too late to get started. Exactly. So glad you're here. Yesterday, we were organizing our hotspots. Today, we are talking about organizing our projects that we found while organizing those hotspots. So number 2, using those tracking sheets, which we will talk about tomorrow. So these come in handy when it comes time to work on your project. Quickly keep your place. You can keep your place and the step and know exactly what is next. I know a few of you have done the challenge before or a few times, so you know the drill, but they aren't quite needed yet. Again, don't overwhelm yourself. So today we're just kind of going through our projects and giving them a little bit more organizing. Tomorrow, we're looking at individual projects. So the third one is keeping them organized by time. Do you guys do this? So there are any projects that you like done prior to the others. So we're looking at the projects that we dug around and found during our hotspot dig, or maybe a pile in the corner that you were going through. So we're evaluating, are there any of these that need to be done for like the holidays or a birthday or some kind of hard deadline? Make piles that are date or time related, the top being the one to complete the first. This way you don't spend a lot of work or working on something only to find out it isn't needed for a long time and now you're hard pressed to complete another project. So number 3 is pretty important when you're looking at those piles. Find those projects that have a time deadline. So Marcia says, I have bags in in a box with a lid so that I can stack the boxes. I love that. So multiple projects, but they are in one box that can be stacked. But when you open the box, they're all divided out. Sue Schultz asked a question. Let me see. I'm hoping. So yes, so as we go through our piles of projects, please just kind of look at what is due first and put those at the top. Sue says, hint, there's always another Christmas or Halloween. Just don't leave them until your kids have grown up. Ask me and how I know that. Yes, Sue. Yeah, our deadlines always change. If it's Christmas, it could be Christmas next year. So for sure, but we can't always put them off forever, right? I love it. And the 4th one is keep them organized by size. So this one is a little bit silly, but maybe you can organize them by large, small, large, small. So this way you aren't always working on large projects right after another, because sometimes those are heavy and hard and they take a lot of brain space. And with the smaller projects, you can get a quick win, allowing you to like feel good about what you've accomplished and can push forward and tackle a larger project. I would suggest during the challenge that if you do have a large project that you're stuck on, go ahead and start it, because while we are active and doing our meetups and you've got your accountability buddy, you know, you've got a few places where you can ask for help, encouragement, and opinions. So large projects are great for this challenge as well. But mix it up. Mix it up. Patty says, I have projects in plastic drawers, kit box, and my rolling tier 3 thing. 3-tier thing. Oh, that's awesome. Sandy says, I always like to have a pretty box for keeping my project in so it doesn't look like what it is. Yeah, they're kind of messy. Yeah. Marcia says, I have pictures. I added them in the introduction area, but I'm not sure if it's where I should be posting. Marcia, you can post them anywhere in this Facebook group and then just tag them OPC or something like that with the hashtag if you want, so we know what you're talking about. But you can post them inside the IAQ group as well. So both areas are just fine. Sue says, I was able to find this presentation by clicking your name. I'll get this figured out. My organization system that I've been working on this summer is using totes. I'll post a picture on the Facebook feed. Do that, Sue. I want to see those. Yeah, that's great. So you have a summer system. I love it. Judy says, I use a wet wipe chalk marker on the outside of the bin to write what is inside the bin. Oh, I love that idea. That's a good idea. So and another one, if you don't have the chalk thing, you can just stick like a 3x5 card on the outside and then write what is inside. So, and our last way to organize, here we go, is designate a space just for your orphan project. So know where they are, know what they are, make it easy. This is all about easy, to quickly grab a project and start working when you feel like it. Nothing is fun about digging through a bunch of fabric and supplies to find a long lost project. Along with this is, how do you organize that area for your project? So we do use the bins and totes and stuff, but right now, and tomorrow we'll go over that with our tracking sheets, but keep the piles pretty simple right now, down to 10 if you can. You can use a better organization or something different method than ones we've mentioned, after you can find them their own spot. So, but at least you can do is have a spot for them specifically just for them. So right now during the challenge, make sure you kind of clear an area for those projects to go. Marcia says, I do have the project that is my number one, but to break it up, we're going to work on the remaining 9. We'll see how it goes. Great idea, Marcia. Marcia, don't be quiet. You're so funny. You don't need to be quiet. No, we love your suggestions, please. So I love that. So your idea is or your goal is to really work on that number 1 project, but you have the other ones sitting in the background so you can pop up and, diversify what you're working on. So yeah, perfect. Is there a limit on how many orphan projects you should have? So short answer is no. Some quilters have a lot, some have very few. Depends on your personality, your space, your time. When I boxed up my whole sewing room, I found one box that was full of quilt tops, just quilt tops that need to be quilted. And I have a long arm and it sits with no quilting on it. I'm behind. So for sure, don't worry about how many you have. So some of you may gasp at the thought, while others could probably win a prize for more than me if we took the time to count them. At some point, I do realize, though, that having a lot of orphan projects, unfinished quilts, can really wear you down. So, you've got guilt and guilt for buying the project, guilt for it sitting on your shelves. This is my shelves before I moved. This is how I stored my projects. But sometimes this guilt is a lot. At point, it even keeps you from sewing on anything, not just the orphan projects, but any new project as well, because you just think, oh my gosh, if I'm going to sew, I should sew on these older projects, but I don't want to. And so you just end up not sewing whatsoever. So orphan projects hold a certain different kind of guilt. But what I have found, which helps, is to plan ahead. So keep a tracker, set aside some time specifically for working on those orphan projects, which we will go over tomorrow. And when you're setting up for the day, maybe it's setting the timer for first thing, you're sewing 5 minutes on an orphan project. The rest of the time in your sewing room, you are allowed to sew whatever you want. So not necessarily exclusively sew on your orphan projects, but just doing a little bit at a time while working on other newer projects. Mixing them into the sewing schedule has helped a lot with tackling the orphans and moving them closer to completion. So yes, Leanne, no limit. Cindy's checking in with her accountability buddy. She finished her homework. Awesome. So excited. Yeah, no limit around here. Cindy, was it your birthday? Happy birthday to you. My son's birthday was yesterday. Talked to him for quite a bit. Marcia says, when you see my pictures, you'll see that I numbered them. Oh, the 1 to 10, not all the rest. Yeah, don't worry about that. That's just fine. Excited to doing this challenge will help me get on this. As you were talking, I have found more. I am serious. There's always some project somewhere hiding. So we're going to find more on our way through the challenge. And that's great. That's fine. As we're organizing and going through our stuff, again, if we can put them somewhere there together so we know what they are and we know that pile is projects that I need to finish, maybe with the most important one on the top, depending on the time and date it's needed. So the next question is, do I have to finish them? What is your answer for that one? Is that a big yes or a no? Or maybe it's it depends. I say no. So let's talk about some options for those projects that we simply don't love. And you're going to find these. So you're going to find projects that I found one when I was packing up, and it was a sunflower kit for a table runner or something. And it was seriously like 1982. It wasn't my colors. It wasn't my style. And I did not love it. I did not want to sew it. I did not want to finish it. So what do we do with these projects? Lucy says, big yes, I love them all. It really depends on, I guess, when you started it, because my scenario, I'm like, there's no way I'm finishing it. It's not my taste anymore. Monica says no, right? Yeah. And Carol says, I sorted yesterday, found 26 projects. Where to start? All right, Carol. So at the beginning of this, we talked about sorting them by time. So are there any with deadlines? Are sorting them by size within there. So small, medium, large, or whatever. So you can alternate. Cindy says you can change them. Yes, donate. Lucy says I've been quilting about 5 years. So you still have beautiful things, Lucy. You know, I have a big collection of old time stuff. Judy says, I actually did put my Orphan projects in clear boxes with label maker labels on them several years ago. When we evacuated for Laura last year, I grabbed my New York Beauty box and sewing machine. Away we went. I actually got a lot done after I reviewed the instructions. You can get a lot done when you have, all you have to do is walk dogs and sew. I love that. I'm glad everything went okay with Laura Hurricane. Yeah. Julia says donate, sell, or give away, or change the fabric. Yep, that makes a difference. Marcia says it was a challenge to put numbers on them, but you can do it. Yeah. And maybe Marcia, along with the numbers, is priority as well. So like your number one is what you're doing. Free table at Quilt Guild, repurposed into a fabric stash, cut into the squares for a scrap quilt. Love that. New to quilting, but I'm working on keeping organized and able to work each day. Hot here in California, and AC in shed is not working, but get things done around this group. Marianne, so glad you're here. Yeah, the heat it was hot here as well yesterday. Working in the morning or in the evening is best. Marty says, I found that sometimes I don't have idea to finish something. When the right technique or idea comes along, I'm ready to go. It is interesting like that, isn't it, Marty? Where you're like re-inspired because of something else. Marcia says, I have an Easter table runner like 10 years ago, not interested in finishing it. All right. Yes, exactly. Make a scrap quilt of nothing but fabric from unloved orphan projects. I love that idea. Lucy says, I sort by stage of completion. Tops are hanging in the closet. Quilts quilting, waiting for binding are in a pile. Quilts already cut and started are in plastic bins and wire baskets. You should snap a picture of that, Lucy. I love it. Sue says, use them to practice quilting, not piecing techniques you want to try. Oh, I love that. Yes. So quilts that you don't want to finish, you can finish by quilting them, donating them, and practicing your machine quilting. Yeah. So making something else instead of the intended pattern or design. This is one idea. This is just about finishing it, no matter if it's not like what you started with. Switch things around, move the blocks, add a border, do something different and unexpected. So this is more of like, just take what you have and go improv. Don't follow the pattern at all, or pick or choose what you will follow. So if you like the block, then make it. If you don't like the sashing, then don't do the sashing. If you only made 10 of the 25 blocks needed, then do something different with the 10. How can you finish this started project without necessarily finishing it exactly what it was intended, because you're just not interested in it anymore? So have some fun. This one's a great one for practicing your improv. Get others to help you out. So this one is a lot of fun, and I've done this a couple times. Are there more than one blocks that need to be finished? Can you ask some friends or other quilters to make them for you? You can return the favor with one of your projects as well. So we've traded projects before, or we've had a sew day, and that's where we trade the project. So we all get together and we sew one block for each person that came. That's a great way to move things forward without having you do everything. And the last one, which we've talked about as well, is pass it along. If all else fails, give it to someone else. Let the project be a fun project or excitement for someone else instead of a dread for you. No one says, and there's no quilt police around here, so no one says that you have to keep it and that you have to finish it. No judges here. I am one that has loved finding a project too at yard sales or thrift stores. Sue says, I did a Bonnie Hunter mystery last year. I remember, and a bazillion pieces left over. Totally missed the sashing instructions. I do that all the time. Remember the one year, which is this year, when I was supposed to add a border to the quilt and I didn't? Yes, things like that happen all the time around here. So those are the ideas for, what if you really don't like it, you don't want it, and it doesn't light your heart up anymore. So do we have any other comments or questions before we hit our review? So our review and our action steps for today are: number 1, organize those projects. Set the timer, dig through those piles with the intent of organizing them. Decide the best way to get them organized. Is it by date? When they're due by, is it by size? Is it by complexity or technique? So find a way to organize those projects that you found yesterday while you were cleaning off your hot spots. Get them ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow we're using our tracking sheet. So right now you're just kind of organizing those projects. You're not like looking in the bag yet. That'll be for tomorrow. So number 2 is decide what your plan is for those projects. So just because they're in a pile doesn't mean you have to finish them. So that's what this is all about. Really decide if they are to be used as intended and finished, or finished differently, or even passed along to someone else. Elaine says, I started the Louis and Clark quilt. Didn't like it, so I gave it to our church ladies group. They had a great time with it. Oh, seriously, I love that. They probably used it for a donation quilt or auction or something as well, right? Yeah, so number 1, organize your projects. Set a timer if you need. Number 2, decide what you're going to do. So just because it's in the pile doesn't mean you have to finish it. So pull those projects that you're really not going to finish, and if you're going to donate. So get them out of your way, because we don't want to spend our time tomorrow with the tracking sheets on a project that you're not going to be finishing. So what's your goal for today? Would love to hear what your goals are for today based on our 2 actions. And then drop a picture of your progress, those piles, in piles of your projects. So, and how are you planning on organizing them? Share that with us, as well as with your accountability buddy, and let us know how things are going. So let's see. Marcia says, Lucy, I do like your idea, but nowhere to hang. I did write down all the projects and what need to be completed. I think I will have my husband input into a Excel spreadsheet so I can sort it and I don't have to go through my bags. That's a great idea. Yeah. Sue asked how my challenge is coming. Slowly. The boards for the shelf were stained yesterday, so they still need to be installed. Yep. I'm having a hard time inspiring the husband. Bobby says her goal is organizing which ones I can work on. Monica says, get in the room. Seriously, Monica, that sometimes is all it takes. And that's all we need to do is just like, yes, just get in that room and make your tunnel to the sewing machine, clean off your sewing machine, and that's it. Yeah. Leanne says, select the projects and finish the cleaning. Yeah. Cleaning is always going to be happening, or organizing. So for sure, that one never really goes away. Julia says, I need to prep for Sewing Expo at the end of the month. I found my instructions yesterday and it reminded me. Yes, I love that. Because seriously, this is really good because you find things. You find things. Who says, Bobby, I don't have an accountability buddy yet. Okay, I'm going to see if I can find the link. Hold on just 1 minute. Oh, who's your accountability buddy? Bobby, I'm going to put this in here and then you guys can, hold on just 1 minute. You can follow it over and that's where you can find your accountability buddy. All right. Elaine says, catching up on yesterday, picking my projects. Yes. Sandy says, talking with other people and they seem to have lost their mojo. Yes. So yeah. So really, and that's what this community is all about too, Sandy, is seeing what other people are working on, being inspired. And Sandy needs accountability as well. So Bobby, she may be your buddy there. Leanne says, let me know how it goes. I need something like that too. Oh, and Patty says, I still need to clean my machine and change my needle. Yep, that one's fairly simple. Fairly a simple one. So yeah, what are your goals? Mary Ann, working on my cutting table, making sure all my projects are in order, reorganizing my shed so that I have quilts are more visible rather than my crochet and knit projects. I love that. And sometimes, you know, we get in grooves where we want to work on one project more than the other. I love that you knit and crochet too. How fun is that? And really, this challenge is perfect for that as well. Same kind of steps, same kind of idea. You're just a different hobby or projects. Cindy says, so before I clean, make projects, my projects are in plastic and need rearranged and pick my 10 projects. Yep, there you go. Yes. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, as you can see, my pile is still here. Sue doesn't need to even ask. You can see it. Yeah, still working on it, but that's how it goes, isn't it? Does anybody have any other questions or comments? The Facebook group has been hopping, so there's been lots of inspiration, lots of before and after. Feel free to share yours and your goals. Tomorrow will be all about the tracking sheet, so we'll see a bunch of those tomorrow. Marcia says, my plan after dental appointment is to get started on number 1 after I get my husband on that spreadsheet if he can while he's working. I love the idea of the spreadsheet. Really, I do. And another idea would be, are you planning on printing that off and using it or just using it on the computer? Because I could see it done on both ways as well. So yeah. Cindy Milletta, I can't wait to see the projects you've chosen. I have 2 picked out. Love it. I love that you guys are planning together and getting, yes. So that is it for today. Our 2 things are organize those projects. Our second one is to, I'm going to have to look because I can't remember. Oh, decide what your plan is. So no sense in working on tracking these projects if you're not really interested in finishing it or giving it away. The thing is too, I just wanted to mention, even if you aren't planning on finishing it as it was intended, you can still use those tracking sheets tomorrow. So yeah. So if the only reason you wouldn't use the tracking sheets is if you're going to be giving it away. Sheila says, I have a 13-year-old project I'm going to be working on. Love it, Sheila. And I love that you're excited about it. Doreen says, I'm using an Excel spreadsheet. I love Excel and it gives great options. Now I just need to start on the project. I know, right? It's fun organizing and it's totally different to sew. Julia says bullet journal spread would be amazing. Ooh, that's a good idea, Julia. That's a good idea. Monica, yep, I can spend way too much time organizing and tracking and not working on something. This is where the timer comes in. So allowing ourselves to just sew for just a little bit and then go off and have some fun organizing. Marcia says he creates with macros, so then I would input my stuff and not have to find where to put it. I will use tracking sheets for today. Oh, I love it. Elaine, I think I can get you a link, Elaine, for the other. It's under media. So if you go to the Facebook group, the main page, it has the menu bar, like discussion, announcements, rooms, and stuff like that. You can find it under the announcements, and you can also find it under the video, the media and video. So let me drop a link in here really quick for you. Oh boy. Hold on just 1 minute. There we go. There we go. And then also under the announcements. So I will be making these videos part of the announcements. And so those will pop up in there as well. All right. So there's a couple places you can find them. Is the announcements area as well as the media files. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps. All right. And is there any other questions, comments, concerns? Otherwise, you have your assignments for today. I am excited to see what you have accomplished and what you will be doing. And you're so welcome. So glad everybody is here. Have a wonderful rest of the afternoon. We will check in tomorrow and bring those tracking sheets. We'll be talking about organizing our projects individually using those tracking sheets. And I will see you then. Thank you again for joining me.